Okay, 200 meters in, turn K left at crest. Jump, then steel bridge into easy left. You don't have 300 meters, you only have like not even 100. You have like 70.
Oh yeah, sorry, I was reading it from there, you're right.
Yeah, no, it's only 70, so 60, not even,
yeah,
no,
okay,
it's
so
like,
K left, and then half a kilometer later we've got to jump in a steel bridge under early. Well, it's not raining.
yeah.
Ready?
Huh?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
100, K left, at crest.
See it?
400, jump, then steel bridge into easy left. 200, jump, then steel bridge into easy left. 100, jump. 600, easy left at crest over bump. 300, caution.
They call it the Iron Man of motorsport. A test of skill, endurance, and sheer determination. With 6 days and 1,400 miles separating the green flag from the checker. It is less a race than a war of attrition, fought on closed public roads where no two turns are the same.
Caution. Whoa. 100.
65 teams crossed the start line Sunday morning, but far fewer will make it to the finish on Friday. It is the only race of its kind in the Western Hemisphere, held in the only place that could accommodate such an amazing spectacle of speed and bravery. Newfoundland, a windswept hunk of granite in the frigid waters of the North Atlantic. The locals know their home by another name, The Rock. The race is called Targa, the Italian word for trophy, and that is the only reward the winners can expect. There is no prize purse, no high-value sponsorship opportunity, just glory and a piece of polished tin.
People don't come because of fame and fortune, they come simply because of the challenge of racing against each other, racing against the clock. The only reason anybody's going to come to a race like this is because of just their interest in speed, their passion for it.
It was that passion that brought Keith and Janelle Tanner, newlyweds from Grand Junction, Colorado, to the Targa in 2008. For two complete amateurs who had never raced before, the Targa was the adventure of a lifetime.
We thought it was going to be a once-in-a-lifetime thing. We figured we'd go once. If we could manage to go back later, that'd be great, but really it was just as one chance. Let's take it, make it happen.
But Targa has a way of getting into your blood.
He literally, from the time we got back from 2008, and took every single opportunity to talk about the Targa.
Keith was determined to race the Targa again. But the journey back would take 3 years, endless patience, and help from the unlikeliest of places.
When we ran the race in 2008, it was mostly self-funded. It was our own savings that went into it. We just couldn't afford to do that a second time.
To get a second shot at Targa, they would need outside support, and Keith knew just where to start.
I work at a Miata performance shop just outside Grand Junction, Colorado. It's called Flyin Miata.
Owned and operated by Bill Cardell and his wife, Terry, Flyin Miata has been a mainstay in aftermarket performance for over 20 years. Getting them to officially back the Targa effort was the first step. But they're a small company, and they don't have the resources to go it alone.
I put together a full proposal. Exactly, here's what I think it will cost. Here's what I think we should do. Here's who I think we can approach for sponsors. And of course, I suggested that we'd bring a 2-car team.
The plan was set. Bill would drive one of Flyin Miata's high-performance development vehicles in the Grand Touring division. Keith and Janelle would again drive their Targa Miata. But this time, the stock four-cylinder would be replaced with an all-aluminum Chevy V8, putting out more than 400 horsepower. The new motor will allow Keith and Janelle to compete for the overall win in the incredibly fast open division. But for the plan to work, they need to raise sponsorship money to cover at least half of their expenses.
We've got a rough budget of around $25,000, $10,000 alone for entry fees. We have to feed and house a crew for the entire week. We have to transport these things 4,000 miles just to get to the start line.
We had some support from some of the larger vendors we approached. Tire Rack helped us out, Dunlop, Alpine Stars, and V8 Roadsters.
This thing's going to be gross when it idles now.
The sponsorship help is useful, but nowhere near enough to get them to Newfoundland. They needed a new strategy, one that capitalized on the publicity that Targa Miata had gained in 2008.
I built this car from scratch, right here in my own garage, back in that corner back there. It was just a bare shell at the time, and then started assembling out of bits and pieces, just salvage parts, anything I could scrounge from anywhere. I started a build diary for it. I documented everything, kept on talking about it, and it had actually attracted a lot of attention. And so when we pulled up to the start line, we had this very well-known car with people all over the world following it. It ended up being much bigger than we'd originally expected. During the race, I kept on updating the build diary, partly for my friends, my family, but as it turns out, for Miata owners all over the place. After I finished running the race in 2008, I heard from a lot of people who said, hey, if you want to go back, you know, I'm in, I'll pitch in 25 bucks, I'll pitch in 50 bucks. We want to see you go back again. Let's see if you can win it this time. And we just started thinking that there's actually something to that. Let's ask the community if they really want us to go back.
The decision is made to turn to their customers and friends in the Miata community. In December of 2010, they put a notice on their website asking for donations.
Our customers are our biggest asset. They're what we have that nobody else does. This large group of people who are behind us.
In the world of motorsports, this grassroots funding approach is unheard of. No other company has tried it before because no one expects it to work. But no one else has had the full support of a community as vibrant and passionate as the one Mazda created when they gave the world the first Miata in 1989.
When the Miata first came out, it was a cute little convertible, and a lot of people just said, oh look, it's a girl's car. But what became apparent fairly quickly is it was one of those rare cars where the engineers won. They got to build the car they wanted. The suspension is fully adjustable. It's got this incredible handling balance. One of the secrets about driving a Miata on the track is it'll always make you look better than you really are. It will let you do anything.
Our wish was to have an affordable car that we can afford and enjoy ourselves. I mean, really, purely, we are the target customer. So we know exactly what needs to be done. You know, how the shifter has to feel, the grip of the wheel to the grip of the knobs, you know, has to be similar. Pretty much we got the car that we wanted.
On any given weekend, more Mazdas are road raced than any other brand of car. Much of that distinction is credited to the Miata, which has the largest spec racing class in the world. In the late 1980s, Bill Cardell ran the Dealer Alternative, a Porsche, Volkswagen, and Audi garage in New Jersey.
One of our customers came in with one of the very first Miatas, took me for a ride, and I was hooked. So I bought one. I had it for 4 months, turbocharged it, and the kit that I used was so horrible, I was the only person to make it actually run. So the manufacturer sent everybody to me to install them, and we kind of went from there.
Suddenly, Bill's German garage was overrun with small Japanese convertibles. By the time they moved their shop to Grand Junction in 1996, the dealer alternative had given up German cars altogether. Soon after, the company was rebranded as Flyin Miata, and they've been making fast roadsters ever since. Along the way, their commitment to performance has gained them a lot of friends.
We have a lot of customers that have been with us since 1996, and it's family. They are family to us. We just really enjoy being part of the Miata community.
It's that relationship with their customers that leads Flyin Miata to reach out for donations for their Targa effort. Almost immediately, the money began to pour in, $10 and $20 at a time, from Miata owners all over the world.
It was unreal watching the donations, watching the ticker on our website just go up, because every day it was higher. And every day it was, okay, we got one car, that's awesome. And then, whoa, we got two cars, and wow, it's not stopping, it's continuing to go.
It's one of those places where they don't just take your money, they give out so much that we could give them a little bit back. Didn't even think about it.
They hit their funding goal with a month to spare, and the donations just kept coming. Flyin Miata's dream of going to Targa Newfoundland was about to become a reality, and the entire Miata community was behind them. With their funding secured, the team turns their attention to assembling the crew and preparing the cars. Bill will drive Nancy.
The car is a 2006 MX-5 with a Flyin Miata supercharger. The Super looks really stock under here, and it bumps up the horsepower output about 90 to 100 horsepower. This is the same suspension we sell to our customers for an everyday street car. If somebody were handed the keys to this car and not told anything about it, they would just think it's a fast Miata. The drivability is exactly as stock. There's just more of it.
To increase publicity for the Targa effort, Bill's navigator will be Zach Bowman, an automotive writer for Autoblog.com.
So I'm going to meet my navigator, Zach, in Newfoundland 2 days before the event starts. As far as I know, Zach has never navigated for a rally. I have done 2 TSD rallies in my life 35 years ago. Both my navigators got sick.
Meanwhile, Keith has been putting the finishing touches on the V8 conversion in the Targa Miata.
This is an L33. It's an all-aluminum Chevrolet engine. Originally out of a truck, of all things. It has about 5.3 liters of displacement. Has been worked over with different heads, different intake, hot cam. It makes approximately 400 horsepower at the wheels. Our biggest problem in 2008 was coming off the corners. We just didn't have the go it took to get to the next corner in a hurry. This year, however, we're going to be able to teleport off the corners. We're going to be able to just make up those straights, get up to top speed almost instantly, and just hold it there. So I think we're going to have a much, much more competitive car this year.
In 2 weeks, the cars will be loaded into the trailer to begin their 4,000-mile journey to St. John's. The team is in good spirits, doing their final maintenance on the cars when they receive devastating news.
We're cutting trees down for the fall, and all of a sudden I heard a yell. Bill yelled for me. So I ran to where he was, and he was literally squished between 2 trees, one that was down and the other one was on top of him. Took him to the hospital right away, and he has a broken shoulder.
We've come to the conclusion that there's no way I can possibly drive, but really I'm pretty disappointed not to be able to go.
They'll need to find a new driver to take Bill's place, and they'll need to find him quickly.
I think all of us came to the same decision pretty much instantly. It's got to be Brandon. He's got to be the one to go. He's a fantastic driver, very smooth.
He's got a lot of driving experience. He's a great driver. Really, he's the right guy for the job, and I'm fully confident he can do, at least as good a job, probably better than I could have done.
I have never done anything even remotely similar to this. I've never driven this fast on public roads. I've never competed in a week-long event or a day-long event. So excited and apprehensive.
Saturday, team registration. The day begins with a team meeting. It is the first time the entire crew is together in one place.
In the evenings, the cars that need service, we have checklists for each of the cars.
There are no professional mechanics among them. Like everything else, they've leveraged the assets at their disposal. Family and friends.
Send the younger guy.
Crew Chief Trevor Holt, a close friend of Keith's. Jim Rinderly, Janelle's father. Keith's parents, Tom and Laura Tanner. Sam Sharp, a longtime friend of Bill's.
40 minutes to...
Zach Bowman is there too.
40 minutes, so we have to roll out.
He and Brandon met for the first time just 2 days earlier.
Cracked up on the top. Oh, yeah.
We didn't even know what he looked like, really. Keith and I are standing there at the airport waiting for him to get off the plane. We're like, oh, is that him? No. That guy just walked by. Is that him? No. Oh, this guy's walking right at us. I think it's, yep, that's him. We jibed right off the bat. I don't know, maybe so excited, but I think we're getting along really well. It's...
Meeting the guy who's going to be flinging you around in the middle of nowhere for the next 5 days, it's a little intense, but it's cool as hell.
Out of necessity, their friendship forms quickly. Tomorrow, they will put their lives in each other's hands.
If I'm coming into a blind corner and he tells me it's a right, so I set up for a right-hand corner, and all of a sudden I'm coming over this blind crest, and I find out that I have to turn left, that's a problem. Having that confidence, having that trust is challenging to build in such a short amount of time.
As the morning rolls into afternoon, all of the teams show up with their cars.
Saturday was the first time we had actually seen any of the other cars, or all of the other cars in our class. See who we were competing against, just take a look at everything, take it all in, and see who we were going to have to race against for the rest of the week.
There's so many different cars down there. Every make, every year, every era, it's a wide selection of cars.
And Targa has a class for every one of them. Classic, modern, grand touring, hot tour. Cars are given handicaps based on their age, size, and engine output to level the playing field. But there is another class where no handicaps are given, and absolute speed is the only thing that matters. The open division. Only the fastest cars and the bravest drivers test their fate here. Keith and Janelle are here to win it.
Get in line, get our stickers, get our route book. Zach immediately goes to work on the route book. He had talked to Janelle. He knew that he had a lot of work cut out for him right there, and there was no time to waste. So he immediately found a quiet corner, sat down, got to work. My job, a little more relaxed. I got to put stickers on the car. Got the car ready for tech inspection.
Okay, horn and wipers, please.
With both cars successfully through tech, they return to their rooms for their last good night of sleep.
The ceremonial start, you drive across the start line, they wave a flag on you, and you drive off.
Ceremonial start, that was all pomp and circumstance. We were feeling pretty good about ourselves.
See you on the finish line, boys. Have fun.
And then you just head for the first stage, and that's where things really get serious. Except for the fact that we got lost in downtown St. John's.
150, square left. Should be coming up.
Oh, there it is right there. Really?
So we are onto Military Road.
I don't know.
Square left, square right.
Okay, I just get pulled off to the right here. I think we're lost. And not only us, but everybody.
These guys are going with us, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
We get to the very first turn, and we had no idea what to do.
We go straight through the gate, then onto Harbor Drive.
Straight through the gate.
See no gate, do you?
Yeah, me either. Is this straight or what?
Is this Harbor?
What are we doing?
Alright, shit fire. Okay, this is where
we tried to go the wrong way up a one-way street. Is this a one-way street? We're just going in circles.
We literally circled, I think, the ceremonial start like 4 times.
That's Cathedral. Didn't we go this way already?
Random race cars driving around the street.
Okay, so we should be on the Hungry Heart Cafe Road going that way.
Yep. Are we on Military Road?
We better be. I've driven on Military Road like 5 times. It's a terrible way to start the race. You're full of confidence. This is going to be great, and then you can't even find your way out of town.
That's a little flustering.
That is. I do feel a little vindicated
since
in the
everybody
fact that everyone went the wrong way.
Eventually, they arrive at the first stage. Cars are released one at a time in 30-second intervals.
Okay. I need the time.
Ready?
Huh?
5, 4, 3, 2.
Okay. 600, turn square right at T. Don't cut.
The way a stage works is we're given a target time. And it'll also tell us that the average speed in order to do that is going to be, say, 118 kilometers an hour. And so if we finish the stage in that time or less, then we've zeroed the stage, no penalties. That's the competition. Who can pick up the least number of penalties? It's almost as if it was a golf game where anything below par doesn't matter. As long as you make par, you're okay, but any stroke above that counts against you.
200, square left. Hard to see. Well, maybe not. 200, severe right. 100, 120, flying finish. And then 200 to finish.
17 seconds ahead. 43, 38.
43, 38. Got it.
Whee! This thing's fast.
They're gonna take a square right.
If racing in the open division is like golf, then Grand Touring is like a game of chess.
All right, 1330, so ours is going to be 1440.
Whereas in the Targa class, you have to hit a time or faster than, we have to hit a specific time. And if we're faster than that, we're penalized. And if we're slower than that, we're penalized. The window that we get is pretty generous on day one and gets smaller, tighter and tighter as the week goes on. It's actually a very math-heavy competition.
4, 3, 2, 1, mark.
580 meters, double caution, inside dip on medium left, into easy right, over crest, don't cut.
We'll have an average speed for a certain distance, and then they'll throw in a new average speed to really kind of, keep us on our toes.
One stage will have 2 or 3 different average speeds.
720 meters, T right, don't cut.
If that's not fun enough, they'll throw in 3 or maybe 4 to really fuck with our minds, which is effective, I can tell you.
In both classes, penalties are cumulative. Each of the week's 41 competitive stages will factor into their final score. But today is the prologue, and the scores don't count.
Prologue it's a shakedown day. That's our first chance to really get the car out on the road on a closed stage and just unleash it and see what it's really like.
The car is very fast, just unbelievable. Get up to 80 miles an hour and just kind of digs in and goes.
600, turn easy right.
Like before in the car with the old engine, we were able to go 100 meters. I had all the time in the world because 100 meters took a while to get. But in this car, you blink and you're at 100 meters because the acceleration is just so much more.
100, square right and T.
Got it.
Into flying finish, 100. 100, square left at T.
No problem. -2. Holy crap.
The car felt good at speed, on slow corners, on fast corners. It's just my friendly little Miata, just, oh boy does it go.
Yeah, when we got out of the car, I was a nervous wreck.
Well, an event like the Targa can't happen without the communities. And so one of the things that we do during the course of the race is we stop off and we actually spend some time there. Sometimes it's for lunch. Our lunches are always at various community spots, at schools and local halls and that kind of thing. But we also stop over the course of the day to meet the locals, especially the kids. The kids love the race. And just basically say thanks for letting us use your roads.
I mean, it's really, they've invited us into their home for the day to hang out, terrorize around their streets, give their kids ideas of cars and things they probably don't want them to have. It's unbelievable, the welcoming and the niceness of these people.
For Brandon and Zach, today is their first time in the car together at race speeds.
The first stage was kind of bad. The second stage was probably worse. And then the third stage was much better.
Into slight right.
Well, I'm really glad I'm the driver, not the navigator. I very much have the easy day.
I had no idea it was going to be this complicated.
I suspect that's largely true in Targa, but it's very true in Grand Tour.
Whatever their problems, they'll need to have them sorted out by morning. Tomorrow, the race begins. On Monday, Keith and Janelle are still trying to get comfortable with the speed of the new V8.
Every time Keith hits the gas, you can feel it accelerate, and every time he lifts off the gas, I mean, you sit back, which to me, I'm just looking down, so I automatically want to look up. which I am trying not to do, because then I'm trying to move into the mode of, if I were driving, this is what I would do, and then I start to panic because he's not braking, so I have to look back down.
Chanel doesn't see scenery so much as she sees hazards.
Yes.
200, turn medium left, pothole.
Yeah, I can see. It's not, you know, what a beautiful road. This is beautiful scenery. Oh, look at the ocean. It's, oh, wow, look at the big hole in the road. Look, there's a cliff, and oh my God, there's the ocean. We're gonna go in it.
Crest into medium left exposure.
Got it.
Caution. Whoa. 100. Turn easy left, drop off narrow. 100, square left at T. Funky bridge and 1K.
I'm having a riot of a time behind the wheel. I'm scaring myself, not because, oh my God, we're gonna crash, we're gonna die, but oh my God, this is fast. I'm getting a lot of that today.
Square left at T.
Square left at T. 100, turn K right.
We're good.
We're really having a good time.
Yeah, at the end of the stage, he's giggling like a little girl, and I'm doing deep breathing to calm down.
Are we through it?
600, crest into medium right, tighten.
As the day wears on, they acclimate to the faster speeds, and they fall right back into their old routine.
300, crest into medium right, tighten.
For Zach and Brandon, things are not going as smoothly.
We left the hotel feeling pretty confident that we had sort of ironed out some of the more egregious errors of yesterday.
You can see where this is going.
We had plenty of confidence. We were very optimistic. And then they changed the stage condition from condition 1, which is one set of times, which I had calculated the night before with much effort, to condition 2, which I had not calculated. Typically, condition 2 is for rain, and it was just a beautiful blue sky, and I was a little crushed that I didn't have times to go by at all. So that was unfortunate. Basically, there was gravel on the road. They wanted to slow us down a little bit, so they put us to 2.
Stage 1 was a bit of a fiasco. I messed up. I was trying to help him do the calculations for 6%, which is what we thought the difference was. I accidentally added 6% to our average speed.
So instead of going slower, we were...
Yeah, we were going faster.
Greatly exceeding.
For the first little bit, yeah. I'm cooking along, I'm like, yeah, this feels good, but man, this is a lot faster than what I'm used to. You know, this is doable, but a little surprising.
Luckily, they correct in time and still zero the first stage. But their troubles are not over.
And I forget which stage it was 3 or 4 today. We're coming into the last series of turns, and I realize I have slowed him way down when we should have been going way faster. And I'm just screaming into the mic, go, 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 go. And we're coming into blind corners effectively, and I just, you know.
It actually, I could see everything, and I could see that I did not want to go flat through that corner, so he's screaming at me, go, 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 go. I'm like, no, I'm going plenty fast. I will go once I get to a straight, so.
Flying finish.
They are quickly learning that rally driving is a two-person sport.
It is by no means a one-man job. The guy behind the wheel is the final say-so in what the car does, more or less, but the navigator is arguably the more important person in the car.
You can go so much faster with a team like this than you can by yourself.
Caution, crest into hard right.
There's nothing like the speed you can go when you've got a good navigator sitting beside you and feeding you every piece of information you need to know as you're barreling down the road. It's a rush like nothing else. Just having that flow of information coming into your head.
Turn square left at T.
Yep.
400.
Coming up to a corner you've never seen before, and you know that it's going to be a slight left going into hard right. There might be gravel on the inside, and watch out, there's a ditch out there. And then you're going to have 3 kilometers of high speed running after that, you know, build some speed up. That constant guardian angel whispering in the back of your head about what's going to happen. It's addictive.
200, crest into medium right, downhill.
Watched WRC since early middle school, basically World Rally Championship. And you watch the guys in the cars, and the driver is always the hero. You know, he's the guy that's really in there, and he's like sweat on the brow, and he's pulling just, you know, crazy stunts off with the car. And the co-driver is just sitting over there politely reading off of a clipboard. And I guess I always just assumed that the co-driver was just a fairly easy job. And then I get the materials from Keith, and the route books have all sorts of numbers, and there's no real definition in there at all. And I'm realizing there's fairly substantial math that you have to pull out, and a whole other language that you basically have to translate. And you have to do it at speed, while the car is flinging around, while you're bouncing around, the helmet's moving, the car is moving, the scenery's moving.
For the week, the navigator sees almost nothing but the route book.
It's really unfortunate that I've spent 2 fairly lengthy time periods in Newfoundland, and I've only seen my trip computer and the floorboard of our car. Because that's my view for the entire race. My primary concern is my trip computer and my route book. My seat is intentionally set low, so I don't see out the window. I don't have really any opportunity for sightseeing.
The navigator's job doesn't stop when they finish racing for the day. There is always more work to do preparing the route book for tomorrow.
She's over there doing her homework. All week she's going to be trying to get a chance just to get caught up on the route books, and every second she gets a chance. She can't do it in the car, so it's got to be done here.
The rest of the crew is going to head out to, there's a pretty cool little restaurant downtown.
Steak dinner.
So yeah, steak dinner. And Janelle is probably headed back to the hotel to do her homework, her route book, and I will do the same. I may get cold pizza and water. Gruel and bread, I think. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. So.
Stick him in a corner, feed him gruel.
It is a successful day for both teams. Keith and Janelle have taken only 2 seconds of penalties. They are in 3rd place in the open division. Despite their math errors early in the day, Zach and Brandon zero every stage thanks to Monday's 30-second window. Tomorrow, the speeds pick up and their target window decreases.
Tuesday's it's like the highlight reel of stages.
400, hard right.
The speeds are up. These are some of the longest, some of the most interesting stages in the entire race.
Double caution, crest into hard left. 200, double caution into hard left, crest.
Time.
100. 500. 400, caution, hard right into dip. 200.
Okay, got it.
Should be there.
Dip.
300 to the flying finish.
Well, right over there, the menu is moose stew and fried moose and various kinds of fish and brews and all sorts of wonderful Newfoundland delicacies.
One of the fun parts about the race is that the lunches are put on by the locals, the local community organizations, the Legion. So it's fantastic because it's all essentially homemade food. It's an atmosphere that you just don't get at other race events. These people are inviting you into their villages, and they're feeding you.
Thank you. I had moose stew, and I had homemade blueberry pie, and it was just really good. Thinking about going back for seconds. Probably won't, but it would be nice. Excellent lunch, and every place we go, everybody is just so nice to us.
300 meters, square right into 70 meters, square left.
The last stage of the day, last two stages of the day today were in Gander, which is basically through a neighborhood. It's in a subdivision. This is by far the most fun I've had here yet.
This is pretty much the coolest thing that ever happened. Yes. Like in the history of the world. This is pretty much like the coolest thing that ever happened. In the history of the world. In the history of the world.
Again, it's one of the classic stages of the race because it's every commuter's fantasy. It's this fairly nondescript subdivision, and they close it all off for us, and we get to go nuts. It's a hard stage. They set the times very aggressively, so it's very hard to zero. And so you got to drive as fast as you can. And there's just turn on, turn on, turn on, turn on, turn on, turn on. They all look the same. They're all 90 degrees, and they're incessant. You don't get a chance to let up. And it's awesome, and we get to do it twice.
You kind of think, wow, should we really be going this fast through here? You know?
Gander was probably the most fun I've ever had in a car. The kind of thing that you can only do in the Targa Newfoundland, because where else can you drive that fast in a neighborhood and the people whose houses you are driving by at full tilt, tires squealing, are standing in their front yard cheering you on, waving and clapping and having the time of their life.
I'd left a lot of rubber on the streets again.
Shit, because I was recording. Yeah.
That was beyond ridiculous.
Holy hell. That is the most fun I have had with my clothes on in a very long time.
Sometimes I've had that
again. Wait just a second.
Yeah. Sometimes I've had less fun with my clothes off, actually, to be perfectly honest.
I don't know, should we put that one on? Actually, it's all on tape, sorry. Too late.
As of last night, we were in first place as of day one. We were tied for first with 3 other people.
2 other people.
2 other people? No,
Three-way tie.
3-way, right. I'm the one who does the math, clearly. Which was exciting. You know, I didn't feel like I had that great a grasp of how it was going, and we were sort of lurchy, working out the kinks, and today was much smoother. I mean, it was very clear that we had a routine, we were applying the routine. We have timers. The kitchen timers, like the 99-cent timers from Walmart or the Canadian equivalent. Stuck them on the dash. They worked flawlessly, better than the $400 rally computer, effectively. Much more intuitive, much easier to use. When we cross the line and the timer goes off and it beeps, like your cookies are done, basically. Only we're crossing the stage and it beeps right as we're going by the flying finish, and we know we nailed it. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boy, well fucking done. That's what I like to see.
Today was a good day.
Today was a good day.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes tomorrow.
Yeah.
Today was a good day because we didn't have to push to make our times. We have so much speed in reserve that we're able to actually take a pretty conservative drive. I was actually backing off, saying, okay, 0 points is 0 points. We don't need to be going 200 kilometers an hour down here. 160 or 180 will do just fine.
At Targa, it's always wise to leave a little in reserve.
The race is a war of attrition. You can't win if you're not at the finish, and it's 5 days of hard racing on punishing roads, so the very first priority is getting to the finish line.
We use GoPro cameras on the cars, which I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with. A lot of people are therefore also familiar with the first and last clip. Always on a GoPro is your face. Trying to figure out if the stupid thing is on or off, what it's doing, which setting it's on. There are a lot of pretty amusing pictures of people with helmets on, with helmets off, very confused facial expressions.
Hi!
Which is basically standard GoPro fare.
And away we go.
On the third day of the Targa, both of the cars have found their rhythm.
1K, T-right exposure, gravel.
Keith and Janelle are extending their lead in the open class.
Janelle was feeding the notes so well that I didn't need to know the road. Double crest and then medium right, hard left, and church on the outside. Okay.
Do you want me to say church?
No, the double crest, let us remember to look for the church.
Hard right into severe left at church 100. This is 100 caution, downhill acute left at T.
You know, it's just, I can see over the crest again, that sort of telepathy that we used to have, you know, this ability to see far ahead, stuff that wasn't really there yet, was back today.
Caution, turn square right at T. It's rough and loose here.
In Grand Touring, Brandon and Zach have gone from total strangers to a competitive rally team.
We work together as a team.
Yeah, he's my chocolate to my vanilla.
Yeah. So, third to last stage, we rolled up. We're at the starting line. You know, everything's getting ready. I'm kind of focused on starting, and light goes green. Apparently, I wasn't really focusing on launching the car because I stalled it immediately.
Oh, shit.
So, big panic, get the car started up. Fortunately, started right back up, and we were off full throttle in a kind of a mad rush to make up time.
Our max speed is 130 kilometers an hour, and he rang it out up to 128 according to the GPS. We made up the time, and we zeroed the stage dead on.
One, solid. Well done, man. That was fucking awesome. Way to earn your keep. Oopsie.
I think that's the great thing about Brandon and I working together. Whenever either one messes up, we can cope, and we can make up the time. We can make it happen. It's awesome. There's just no other word for it. It's great.
I had a visit from one of the scrutineers. He said, "You know what speed? It looks like your hood's about to open. We're getting reports." And he was checking my hood pins and looking at it, and I didn't think anything of it. But when we got on the first high-speed stage at 200 kilometers an hour, it's lifted about this much in the front. It's wobbling around. It's pinned down to a solid, but it looks terrifying. So we taped down the front of it to hold the hood down to keep air from getting underneath. Could not be happier with how the day went in terms of the competition. You know, our goal, as usual, is just to get to the finish, you know, do as well as we can, but we know we're not going to be clean. You know, we can't zero everything. Nobody can. But we have an advantage. We have a fast car and we have a small car. And so on the tight stages, we've got a big advantage. On the big fast stages, we've got a big advantage, and it's working for us. We're in first place. We're 21 seconds ahead of the nearest car.
Things are going well for Brandon and Zach, too. They are tied for first place, and in 3 days of driving, they have not taken a single penalty.
It's awesome to be in first for 3 days in a row. If the car melted into a puddle right now and we had to leave, that would be fine, because Brandon and I were in the lead at Targa Newfoundland for 3 days straight.
But as the race goes on, the long days are starting to take their toll.
I'll be honest, I'm a little nervous, I'm a little fried. I think we're both fighting fatigue right now more than anything. We haven't gotten more than 5 hours of sleep for 4 or 5 days now, and it wears on you, especially when you have to be so on point for so long.
You never have any downtime. You never can just sit down and go, okay, just a minute for me. And there's no Janelle time during Targa. You're always on.
A lot of people believe the racing really starts on Thursday, because that's when the really hard stages show up. That's when everyone's really tired, and that's when things happen.
Thursday. Today is the day that will decide, the race for so many people. Driver breakdown, navigator breakdown, or car breakdown. I mean, one of the three is probably going to happen on Thursday, if you're unlucky.
For Zach and Brandon, the day will bring all three.
There's a thunking noise coming from the left rear corner, so I wanted to check that out. I happened to notice something shiny and silver poking out of the tire. The jack worked really well, though.
We got here and there was a nail in the side tread block of the tire. The only spare we have here is a little donut, like the 50-mile-an-hour, only use in case of an emergency, which isn't exactly, the kind of gear you want to run on a rally.
Push, push, push.
So the tire turned out to be the least of our worries. That was an easily fixed problem that didn't actually cost us anything. On one of the next stages, we messed up on the times. Long story short, we didn't get them right. We get to the end of the stage, and we can see the finish line, and Zach's telling me we're 30 seconds fast. I don't know what happened, but you gotta scrub 30 seconds.
25, 24, 23, 22, 21.
I was driving at approximately a half a mile an hour, going all the way across the road.
12, 9, 8, 7,
Come to find out, we blew it. We lost our first place right there. Unfortunately, that was not the end of the day for us. We get to the second to last stage of the day. Roll up the starting line, feeling calm, confident, no big deal. Light turns green, we go. Zach calls out the instruction. I just kind of reflex, say got it, because I was driving the tape, which is exactly what they tell you not to do. I get to the tape. There's nothing there. There's no corner. I had missed the corner. I drove straight past it. We took another 7 seconds, I believe, there, which honestly is pretty good, as I burned way more than 7 seconds going straight past the corner.
In 4 days and 1,100 miles of racing, two complete novices who have known each other less than a week have only accumulated 14 seconds of penalties. In any other circumstances, this would be cause for celebration. But for Zach and Brandon, now in 5th place, it feels like defeat.
We came in not expecting to do well at all, and then all of a sudden we're doing really well, and in the back of your mind, you know that you don't really have a shot. You're a novice, you make mistakes, and you learn from them, I guess. It just hurts a little bit to be that close, and then
yeah, it's frustrating when you're doing so well. You think everything's perfect, and then you make really both of them are just stupid rookie mistakes.
With Zach and Brandon in 5th, Flyin Miata's best hope for a podium finish rests with Keith and Janelle.
This stage was fun. I remember this stage.
At the start of Thursday, they are leading the open class by 21 seconds over the Dodge Challenger and the BMW M3.
4, 3, 2, 1.
It's been going well on Thursday. We've been running hard. Some of my favorite stages, Garnish and Frenchman's Cove, are just fantastic. They've got a little bit of everything. They're great stages, and I think we did well on them. Fortune is always a lot of fun. It's a crazy little left-right thing.
100, turn square left at barricade.
It's been a really good day. We've been going well. I think we're competitive. I think we're running faster than most of the cars, so we're looking good. I think we're in a pretty happy place. The cars has been rock solid so far.
Woo, zoom in, woo, zoom out, zoom wee.
Going into the last stage of the day, they have widened their lead in open class to more than half a minute.
One more stage.
It's such just a short one. It's only like, what, 5 minutes?
5.7 kilometers.
It's like 3 minutes long.
So it's like
big whoop. It's only got to run for 3 more minutes. 3 more minutes.
4 pages.
4 pages left in the day.
A little bit more. Perfect. Double caution, small crest into compression, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, left, then right, into crest. So we're left in a quarter kilometer. Ready?
Huh?
4, 3, 2.
200, turn square left. 100, turn square left. 100, caution, crest into turn square right at T. Right at T.
Got it.
200, caution, turn square right at barricade. 100, medium right into hairpin left. Medium right, hairpin left. 400. 300, crest, then turn acute right. 200, 100, crest, then acute right. This is 200.
Lost our engine. We're out of no power.
No power?
Oh.
Did you get it? Go, 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 go.
Nothing.
You get it? Get it? Should I undo?
Yep, we need our
We were dead in the water. It just like that, car just stopped running.
All of a sudden, it just lost power. Just boom, nothing. And we were still going fast enough and making enough noise. You couldn't tell the car had stalled. And I actually had to look at the tachometer. It just felt like no fuel at all. So we pulled over here. I popped the hood to make sure there was no fuel underneath. No problem with that. I jumped inside, turned on the key, and the fuel pump is triggered off the key. So it should run with the key, and there's absolutely no noise at all.
I thought it was the fuel pump. It was acting like a fuel pump. I'd heard a couple of odd noises beforehand, something that just planted in the back of my head that you gotta watch your fuel pump. But when we got back to the arena, we discovered very, very quickly that the fuel pump had power, and it was the main relay had gone on the car.
I think I lost my main relay. Seriously? Yeah. There's just nothing else that runs off the damn thing.
I've never seen one fail mid-corner, but that's what it was.
I had a goddamn spare relay with me in the car. Damn it.
I had a spare with me in the car. I didn't even think to pull it out.
You know, if a customer calls in and says my car just died on the side of the road, I always say check the main relay.
Yeah.
If the car's gonna break, at least brake, do something. I'm like, come on, really? That's all? You're gonna brake and that's what happens? You know, I mean, give me a reason of why we're braking instead of just that. It was just such a crushing moment. It was, you could see it, and it just went away, you know, the opportunity.
It was just frustrating. You know, all the little things that have been bothering you all week just kind of bubbled to the surface. I didn't want anything to do with it for a while and just shut down. All the energy that was keeping us going just let go all at once. When you fail to finish a stage in the Targa, you get a 5-minute penalty. And you also are given the time for the slowest car in your division that did finish it. The slowest car in our division was dramatically slower than us or our competition. But there's still a day of racing ahead of us. There's a hurricane coming. It only takes one bad corner to take you out of the race, so it's not over yet.
We're okay, car's okay, and we'll be here tomorrow.
Friday morning, the drivers wake up to find Hurricane Maria has made landfall on the rock. The storm brings heavy rains, 60-mile-an-hour winds, and a change to every racer's strategy: survive.
We woke up Friday morning and Hurricane Maria was there. We knew it was coming, but still, to open up the window Friday morning and see all the trees laid over and the rain going sideways, all of a sudden we realized that it's not just a race, we're just trying to get home at this point. That's our number one priority, we have to finish. Maybe not everybody will.
It's the morning of day 5, and we could conceivably podium if we keep all of our P's and Q's just as straight as an arrow. And yeah. I'm gonna mix metaphors just like it's my job right now. I'm just gonna throw them all in there and push blend. It could happen. So yeah, we're just gonna try and do our best. And it's raining to beat the band right now, so today's gonna be just an absolute crapshoot. You know?
Yeah.
Could be any. It legitimately could be anybody.
Yeah. There's really no telling whatsoever what's gonna happen today. They canceled all the stages before lunch, and honestly, the transits were probably the hardest part of that day. Zach and I were actually noticing that there were literally white caps on the puddles in the road because the wind was so strong and the water was so deep.
Ready?
Yep, it's gonna be a little bumpy first.
The racing begins with Carboneer in the afternoon. Teams will run the stage twice, back to back. Weather is clearing and the roads are nearly dry.
Hairpin left. Hairpin left. 200, turn square right at T.
On the second run through Carboneer, Maria returns with a vengeance.
Wow.
Wow. Uh-oh. I need to...
Ready? Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Okay. Slight left at Y. 200, easy right. About 100, easy left into turn square left. Turn.
I was navigating by landmarks that I spotted out during that first run. I remember seeing a particular mailbox and saying, okay, the road's just on the other side of that, so I just turned to the outside of the mailbox. The road was there, but it was sheer driving off memory.
It was really just a matter of making it through, doing as well as possible, but not wrecking.
race ends not with a bang, but a whimper. A slow procession of cars struggling for grip and visibility in the middle of a hurricane. Despite being robbed of their final day of racing, spirits are high at the ceremonial finish.
Getting through the race and getting to the finish line, you've actually pulled it off, you've done it. Everyone's got a huge smile on their face. And you just can't stop picking up that finisher medallion and looking at it over and over again. Just checking it out. It's like, I got one, I got it.
Yeah, the emotional average was 100% awesome.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of stress, and there was a lot of, just a lot of anxiety.
Yeah, some ups and downs. It was pretty frustrating when we made the mistakes yesterday.
Okay, so our first year out, we made 2 mistakes, and those garner us 14 seconds over 5 days of racing.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Zach and Brandon take no penalties on day 5, in spite of the rough weather. They end the event in 5th place in Grand Touring. It is not enough for a podium, but they are awarded the Grace Cup, the trophy for Rookies of the Year.
We met a week ago, and we just did the Targa Newfoundland.
I will be back. If the Flyin Miata guys don't have me, I will find a way. I will claw my way, bribe my way, I will stow away if I have to. I will be back here.
In 3rd place, Keith and Janelle Tanner. Spectacular announcement.
We have finished 3rd in our division, which is absolutely fantastic. We're in very, very good company.
Extremely good company.
Yeah, extremely good company. The 2 guys that came in ahead of us, if we had not taken that 5-minute penalty, it would have been a heck of a race between the 3 teams.
But the 5-minute penalty makes all the difference. Keith and Janelle finished the Targa 4 minutes and 58 seconds behind first.
It's funny. As a racer, I should believe that anything less than first place just won't do. But now, looking at it from a distance, we proved we could run at the front. We were right at the sharp end of the pack. We proved that we were not just competitive, but we were actually difficult to catch. So I'm going to go home happy with how everything went. I think we did what we wanted to do. We came out here with a killer car and a relatively inexperienced team, but I think a good team, and we showed it. Yeah. We didn't go to Targa for the prize money. You can't. There isn't any. We went because of the challenge and the adventure and the opportunity to do something you just can't do. It's one of the few international level motorsport events that someone like me can take part in. I can't run Le Mans, I can't run a Formula 1 race, but I can race in the Targa Newfoundland. We had a huge adventure, and it's because of the community and because of the people that believe in us enough to step up and help and say, we want to see you do this. I can't thank people enough for letting us do this kind of thing. It's a huge experience.
You get in the car, sucker! You get in the car!
Nice legs.
You're gonna get me crying again. I don't know how you guys do it. I don't do this on a regular basis.